Yo, how's it going, guys? Today I got another brew for you guys. I've slapped in the KASHTIRA cards into the Zefra Tellar Knights deck. This has some nice advantages, like having access to the fat beaters in form of the KASHTIRA monsters that special summon themselves for free. You also get to add the KASHTIRA end board on top of your normal end board if you open access to Unicorn. You also have Birth for the crazy grind game. Of course, you have the Macrocosmos effect offered by Arise Heart, which is interestingly enough not that bad for our deck actually, and has some nice unique interactions. So it doesn't hurt us as much since we make this at the end of our combo anyways. The Exceed locks we get don't really matter since we only link off one time anyways. That's why we cut out all the links except for the Isolde for Deltaros and the Underworld Goddess because we can't out towers. And instead we put in the Shangri and the Arise Heart. What else is really interesting is if you use the Caduceus to banish a name for cost, you can actually reattach it as a material for Arise Heart, and then it gets sent to the graveyard if this gets outed or something, so that lets you also recycle your guys. You also have the really nice advantage here of not really minding that our guys get banished, especially the Alteran, which seems bad if it gets banished, but you can have this in your graveyard, and then when you rank up, you get to summon this back from the graveyard, and it'll get banished afterwards, but it still has its pop first, and if you resolve all of that stuff, you're pretty much winning the game anyways in their next turn, right? So you don't really care about the follow-up that you need if all your guys get banished. So just make sure you don't use this guy as material for one of your end board exceeds. Alright, so this list is getting hit a little bit for the next ban list. Namely, we're losing a copy of Fenrir. We're only running one Birth anyways, and one Theosis, but that's not getting hit anyways. I don't think this really has that good of a spot in the current meta. It seems much better as a meta call counterpick, right? Where you can run more Banish Floodgates. Like you can run Shifter, and then you can like remove stuff like another Altair, and just play less focused on the graveyard and more on using the tellers for their disruption. That's fairly unique for their grind game, for the ability to play around Banish Floodgates, for the ability to play stuff like the Shifter as well. So right here I have some nice replays. I have one that just shows the full combo if you open a cache plus your normal combo. Then I have one that shows off a bit of the grind game. And then I have one that shows if you don't open the KASHTIRA cards, it's also not that bad. Alright, let's hop straight into it. Alrighty, here for our first game. We open some of the cash cards, which is pretty nice. Get to grab the Birth for our grind and our follow-up. We're just going to special summon out the Medalce and summon out our Pendulum guy. So we get to go into Caduceus, banish the Lyran to get our continuous spell, go into Deltaros, and we're just going to pop ourselves here since we can't link off into Isolde because this guy is a fiend. So we're just going to pop ourselves to get the Unuk in order to dump our Alteran. We're going to go into Ptolemais here. Since we're not linking anyways, we could have also done this earlier, which is another advantage. We don't really run as many links. We can still float the Deltaros as well. Just making Isolde gives you better follow-up and everything. Alright, so what do we have here? We have Birth in hand for follow-up. We have Zephyrath, which is half follow-up, right? If we get access somehow to our Zefra Thubin, this is really nice. It's a bunch of bodies. We still have the Constellar Tellar Knight's continuous spell here, so we can do the ranking shenanigans in our next turn. We also locked our Pendulum Zone. Locking any one zone blind doesn't have like massive impact, except the Pendulum Zone if you're playing against Pendulum. So there's not a lot of Pen guys out there right now, but I think this is still just the best blind option because you win instantly against their deck without having to do anything. Also, this guy has Endymion sleeve, so maybe he's playing it, right? Then we, of course, we also have the Arise Heart to banish stuff, and we have the Ptolemaeus to rank up next turn, as well as having our Alteran in the graveyard. This means this will come back, and it will pop a card, and then the Arise Heart banishes it later, but we don't care anymore at that point. Alright, so let's see what our opponent has here. We're going to also summon out the Unicorn here, and it's Pearly. So we get to grab back our banished guy. He goes into Dullahan, goes battle phase, and now we can rank up here, go into Pleiades, and then bring back the Alteran. This will just pop his guy, and he loses access to Zeus here, so he just surrenders. Alright, this game we're playing a bit lower to the ground. Our hand looks pretty nice, but we're just going to start off with the Unicorn here, grabbing the Theosis. I can use the Small World here. They have some response, but we're just going to go for the Denev Lyran combo. Going to pop off right here, activate the Lyran. No response. So he's letting us play a little bit here. Going to grab the Skybridge, go into the Caduceus. And now when we activate this to grab the Zefra and activate the continuous spell, he's going to fire off the Maxi. So this was kind of awkward. Why would he hold the Maxi for this long? We check his extra deck, and it just seems to be some random awkward stuff. There's 3 Herald of Arclight in there, and he let us play to commit some bodies onto the board. So I'm thinking this is probably going to be Makonko. We don't want to let them draw into too much non-engine, like Makonko or Numeron or something, right? But Numeron would have maxied earlier. Makonko needs you to have bodies. So that's what I'm guessing. I was facing a bit of it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to Theosis anyways, give him 1 draw for the Fenrir to get a Unicorn for follow-up in her hand, as well as to banish a guy on the field here. Alright, so it turns out he didn't like that, so he gives us a Kaiju instead, pops our continuous spell, grabs the Rivalry here, and we're going to start banishing the Arclight in hopes of it doing anything at all. And yeah, not really sure what happened here. They kind of forgot to set the trap, I guess. Don't think it really matters. Since we have so much follow-up in hand here, we have so much gas, we're going to not use the Altair's effect, because this does lock us into attacking with only Tellar Knights, and we have a Kaiju here and a cash card. So we're just normal summoning it to get the free body out, and this would bounce one of their guys as well as one of mine, but then we just have lethal on board. So not the most impressive, but this also shows off the power of KASHTIRA in giving you a backup plan through the Maxi. Alrighty boys, for our last game, we don't open any cash cards, and this shows off a slight weakness of the deck as well here. Getting hand trapped by the Ash Blossom right here. We don't have as many links to go into, so we can't abuse the Deltaros as much as in a normal build, since we just don't have the space in the extra deck here because we have both of the KASHTIRAs here. So we're still going to access our Constellar Tellar Knights, and it is going to resolve here as well, which is very nice. So we get to go into the Deltaros for Isolde and grab some nice extension or follow-up. The cool thing about opening the Zefrath or access to it is that Isolde can get you to your Zefra Thuban, which you can scale. The issue with this is you cannot actually send the Zefra Core. I mean, you could, but you can't summon out the Zefra Thuban from the scale, since Isolde says you can't summon it. So right here we play through Ash and Bell, and we're still going to end on a Ptolemaeus with 4 materials, giving us either 2 Dark Monster negates or 1 bounce, as well as follow-up in the form of bouncing our continuous spell, as well as having the Alteran here for another pop. So that's 2 to 3 disruptions, and we have some nice follow-up. Playing through 2 hand traps, it's honestly not that bad, but it could have been better. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of the cash cards, or this would have been a lot nicer. Here they mining, pitch mining. And we're just going to rank up right here into the Pleiades. And that'll let us grab back the Alteran as well to pop here. And they just surrender at this point. They probably don't have enough extenders to keep playing. We have the 2 disruptions here, and it will be pretty hard for them to do anything. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let's get straight to the recap. Overall, I think this deck has potential if it's the right time for it, but I currently don't think it is, to be honest. The cash cards are really nice as a plan B or as a meta call, but it's not the meta for it right now. And there's probably better just plan Bs you could do, or you could just not need them by adding more extenders to your deck. Another big thing to consider is that the super heavy samurai support will be coming out any day now, and that will also change how the deck is played. And I don't think that there will be space for the KASHTIRAs anymore. All in all, I think this was nice to mess around with a little bit, and it was pretty fun playing it, but I don't think it's worth it, and I wouldn't recommend playing this in its current iteration. Alright guys, have a good one. See ya.